YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and I hope you all are ready for some more awesome action in Total War Warhammer 3 multiplayer. A couple things. Number one, I think you all are going to love this replay. I know I've seen comments from a few, not all, but a few, and they're like, I hate this new game mode, this domination. I get it. It's different than land battle. There is a little more to domination. I know that the meta for domination has kind of become vampires and Slanesh and some other messy stuff. It'll get ironed out as you go. Part of the reason why domination might be confusing for some is because the way you have to play the game is quite a bit different. Now, I prefer land battle. I'll just say it right out front. I do still like land battle better, but I like that CA is trying to make something new and trying to make it interesting. And so I feel like that this is an interesting game mode that they should stick with, regardless of whether it may not be everybody's first pick. Now, this one is going to be a Vampires versus Warriors of Chaos. Warriors of Chaos are going to be led by Archaon, the Ever-Chosen. He is quite a tough lord these days. Not that there aren't more options, especially with all of the new Champions of Chaos DLC that came out, but Archaon's still very tough. Now, remember, his magic got mixed up a little bit into Immortal Empires. He's not just pure lore of fire now, so it's been a few changes to him. Now, this is an interesting... actually, I'm not going to slow down at the moment because this is a pretty long battle. It's a good battle, though, so like I said, make sure you stick around for this one. The Vampires immediately swing their Black Knights out to point 3, and they send the Feasters in the Dusk in that direction. And Chaos has come with some interesting units here. They've got 2 of these Chosen of Khorne with dual weapons, and then a Warrior with great weapons. Now, you've got, of course, Ghorst, because he's kind of the meta pick for Vampires right now. He went from meme to, like, meta, all in, one update. So he is definitely pretty tough. He's got a Mortis Engine effect. He can heal those around him. He can summon. He's just very good. And the Vampires are going to do a lot of swarming. We're going to bring in a ton of zombies, skeletons. We got Cairn Wraiths. Graveguard with great weapon are pretty scary units. They're pretty tough now. And then there's a Necromancer on a corpse card in here, giving added benefit to. Now these Chosen of Khorne with great dual weapons are going to be very tough. Check out this sweet move here. Archaon came over to support some Hellstriders with the Scourges and the Summoners of Rage, and they catch the Black Knights and destroy them. Initially, that Feasters in the Dusk unit made it look like that this was going to be an easy capture for the Vampires, but it actually turns into a capture for Chaos. However, the Vampires, by sheer weight of numbers, snagged point 2, and then point 1 went uncontested by Chaos, and a unit of Cairn Wraiths has moved over there. Cairn Wraiths are going to be a pretty nice unit. Have to be careful with them because they're still pretty susceptible to magic damage. It's down to 50%, though, from what I believe was 75 or 80%. Some more Graveguard with great weapons moving around. Look at this summon here, a Graveguard summon in behind the Warriors with great weapons, and with this many zombies. Now, zombies, if I understand it right, do have a slightly different capture weight. I think there's a different capture weight for expendable units. I don't know if these count as expendable, though, to be honest. I don't remember. Yeah, they're not. So I don't know exactly what the rules are, but I think that zombies have slightly less capture weight, if I remember right. Now, Archaon came back. He's going to drop a big burning head across this formation. Doesn't quite connect with all those zombies, but then he follows it up with an overcast Searing Doom and does tremendous damage to the Vampires. But to be honest, this is kind of good and kind of bad for Warriors of Chaos. This is what the Vampires want. They've got 2 capture points, and they just want you to sit here and keep throwing stuff at them, and throwing stuff while they just bog you down and bog you down forever and eternity. Now look at these Chosen of Khorne here, 194 kills and still going. Even this Graveguard with great weapons having a very difficult time stopping them because their melee defense is just so high. But I like the combination here. Cairn Wraiths, Poison, everything in here working against the Chosen of Khorne. And that said, those guys are still looking awfully scary there by the statistics. This one over here is just killing away as well. These are some very expensive but very tough units. And the Vampires did not appear to bring a blob-busting spell here, which, or, anything like Pit of Shades they could have brought and other things. They stuck with Ghorst. His magic. Here comes another burning head right here. This one looks like it's going to connect. It is going to go over the top of these Chosen. However, the burning head does not do tremendous damage to armor. Look, it might catch these Cairn Wraiths a little too here. Yeah, it did. Caught a nice chunk of their hit points there before they engaged with the Forsaken. So yeah, a lot of Forsaken coming out now for Warriors of Chaos. Point 3 still being held by these Marauders. No move for point 1 by the Warriors of Chaos yet. I can hear more summons coming in, and there's more Forsaken. So the Warriors of Chaos, like I said, are kind of at the moment playing into the hand of the Vampires. And if you look at what the Vampires do when they summon like this skeleton, this is like a 5-unit summon all at once. And, I mean, those are some big units. 5 units times 160 entities rolling onto the battlefield all at once. And this is brutal. I mean, so this is what the Vampires do. They're going to bury you. One of them is the Konigstein Stalkers, which is a poison unit, which, again, is just going to slow down the Warriors of Chaos even more. Now, Archaon is getting real sick of Helman Gorst and his corpse cart, and so he's going to get in here, and he's going to bust out the Slayer of Kings. And Gorst suddenly really doesn't have any cover. He is going to get his butt handed to him by Archaon. That's what Archaon does best. He gets into a position like this and just absolutely cracks down on whoever's there. He is a beast in melee. You can see the Vampires throwing in skeleton spears, doing everything they can to stop him here. But Ghorst just isn't able to get away, and he is gone. So the Ghorst cart is taken down. There is still a Necromancer supporting, and despite taking down Helman Gorst, and despite putting up a very good fight, Chaos is nowhere near capturing this point. And right after those 5 units were summoned, here comes, it looks like 4 more, at least. It's more skeleton warriors and zombies. So, I mean, the Vampires are looking to absolutely bury the Warriors of Chaos here. Pun intended, I guess, coming from the Vampires. And to me, this is where it gets risky. Chaos gives up defending point 3 and decides to just go all in for point 2. Now, they did send a contingent over here, Forsaken, to attempt to wrest point 1, and this is good. At this point, it's going to be extremely difficult for the Warriors of Chaos to come back, and if they just keep throwing all of their bodies at point 2, they're going to lose the game. And this is one of the reasons why I like showing this and talking about this different game mode, is even I've got so much to learn about this game mode. It totally requires you to think differently and strategize differently, and that's part of the reason why it can be fun, is because it can really challenge you to change the way that you think about picking armies and the way that you play the game. And in this case, you can see that Chaos really wants this victory point, and they kind of feel like they have to have it. Now, all of a sudden, the Vampires get a summon here of Black Knights. This is not looking good. So point 3 is now basically wide open to the Vampires, and it is already a huge lead for the Vampires. So Chaos is in some serious dookie here if they want to claw their way back in. So yeah, victory point 2 is not even beginning to be captured by Chaos. They've thrown all this weight at it. They're trying to pound their way through all this chaff. That Necromancer's back there just laughing to the bank as nothing can stop him, and he continues to buff up all of this Vampire chaff. You can see some of these units, like these Chaos Warriors with great weapons, pretty beat up. Some of these units need to be despawned at some point so they can be brought back in, but check out these Chosen. 335 kills climbing. The other Chosen is still here. These guys have been fighting since the very beginning of the battle. 417 kills on the other. Summoners of Rage are not happy about the Vampires potentially taking this capture point, so they moved, but one of their unit models got stuck and turned around here, and so they are struggling to get over there. They're being chased by Skeleton Warriors who are trying to stop them. Look at this, the Feasters in the Dusk, trying to keep the Warriors of Chaos from picking up point 1, but it was too late, and these Hellstriders are now blocking the spawn of the Vampires, which may be a good deal. Here comes some Chaos spawn, by the way. Summoners of Rage turn loose. Actually, no, they turned around to drop this, is what they did. Now they're going to go over here and try and stop the capture of point 3. See whether they can get there in time. They'll certainly put that Black Knight down. I don't know how quickly they can do it. But, yeah, at this point, it is definitely looking bad for the Warriors of Chaos. If they don't do something really soon, this match is going to be out of reach. I mean, you can see that there's only about 1,200 points left to go before the Vampires win it. And they're likely going to just keep burying their opponent in corpses, which is kind of exactly what you would imagine the Vampires do. So Chaos getting pretty serious about protecting point 1. There's no Vampire contingent attempting to take it, but they have a rather large force on it. The Vampires are now pushing more infantry this way, and Archaon's going to move down here with some Chaos spawn in order to try and take this point, and then we've got some Marauders chasing these Vampire infantry, and here comes yet another Black Knight. So the Vampires do not want to let this go easily. And to their credit, all they need to do is kind of just hold at this point. If they just hold point 2 even, I don't think Chaos can come back. I think it's going to take a triple cap at this point for Chaos to come back. So it is not looking good for the Warriors of Chaos. They're going to have to do something quickly in order to shift the tide. We come back here. Look at these Warriors of Khorne finally being defeated. And so it's at this point where Chaos kind of just gives up on point 2. And gives up on the Vampire Blob and is now going more for these side points. I mean, my question, though, in watching this is it in time? Can they actually stop this? Like, even with one capture point, can they... they can't come back, I don't think, mathematically. So, like I said, I think there's going to have to be a triple cap. And time is running short because you're approaching 5,000 victory ticket limit here. These Black Knights, though, are in over their head. The Summoners of Rage have gotten a ton of kills. They have been very clutch. They've been fighting from the very beginning of this. They are probably exhausted. They are Archaon as well. But he's got the Slayer of Kings in here. And the Vampires are definitely going to lose point 3. So that is going to slow down the count to victory. And speaking of counts, all they need to do is just hold point 2. And they'll win the game. But we're going to see a move here that was interesting to me. The Chaos starts collapsing towards point 2, leaving this point somewhat unprotected. And I was kind of expecting to see a cheeky play here by the Vampires to just go after capture point 1. You can see that these Forsaken are moving off now, pushing back towards the Vampire spawn. That should block the Vampires from getting units there. And I think at this point the Warriors of Chaos realized that nothing short of a triple cap is going to save them here. And I think that the Vampires know it as well, and so they start piling all their units towards point 2. You can see them moving reinforcements that direction. It would be really good if Chaos could get up here and disrupt these reinforcements, because like I said, this capture is going to be absolutely critical if Chaos wants to win this. So this may not look close by score, but this is actually real close, because if this capture happens, Chaos can win. If it does not happen, this match is over. And look, here comes a big blob summon, and there's going to be a lot of units moving that direction. So the Vampires are throwing everything they can at this in order to hold. It's going to take a while for these units to get here, though. That is one down of the downsides to the Vampires, is they are incredibly slow. Here comes more units, so there's going to be more capture weight coming, and there's even more capture weight coming back here. Those Forsaken catch the Skeleton Spears and prevent them from reinforcing. But look, here's more capture weight, and a tough one at that for the Vampires. However, look at this. The needle starts to move. Chaos gets just enough units, and they are starting a capture on point 2, but it is perilously close to game end here. We'll see what happens. Here comes a very nice... Oh, that bombardment right on target onto the Graveguard. That's going to hurt. The capture continuing for the Warriors of Chaos, but the count continuing. This is going to be incredibly close. So we can see here that victory, if the Vampires just need a couple more units here to stop the capture, they didn't get there in time. The Skeleton Warriors were just short for stopping that capture, and it stopped the count at 49:50, just another few seconds, and the Vampires had it. However, at this point, the Vampires don't have any other options. They have nothing else fast enough, and the Warriors of Chaos should win this as they sit here and hold, as they are now caught up almost entirely. So a huge comeback and an extremely close, very clutch victory. If those those Skeleton Spears and other ones had been summoned just a few seconds sooner, they might have been able to slow that one down. And so an extremely tight game here by these two players. And I know there was probably quite a few people cheering against the Vampires because they're such a meta pick. And they are. You can see why they're good at this, because they can swarm objectives and they can bury you in chaff. And the thing is you can't play that game with them. It doesn't mean that it'll be easy to beat them, but you can't play that game with them. And I think the Warriors of Chaos in this recognize that, and I appreciate this one being submitted. This one was submitted by Dragomir, and it was a really good one, so I appreciate him sending it in. Interesting play. I say interesting play. Some of you won't think it is. I think it is. The play by Ghorst here, it makes sense. Again, swarming the objective. Look how many units the Vampires can bring. I mean, just so many units they can bring because of the cost being low and just swarming in on that objective. But I like some of the utility units. Cairn Wraiths are a little bit faster. They're a nice utility unit. We never did see the Sternsman come into play But an interesting pick because they can last a long time. There was some Dire Pack here to give a little bit of extra mobility, the Black Knights. Some of these units never saw play because there was mass summoning of the cheaper ones coming in. But if you look at the units here for Chaos, those Spawn coming in late ended up being pretty helpful. And then not bad here from the Hellstriders coming out, get some kills. The Forsaken definitely were helping to clear through the chaff a lot more quickly. But I mean, just look at these these dual weapon Khorne warriors. Absolutely insane. 543 kills, 507 kills. Clearly most of these zombies, because you can see that even with that many kills, the value not tremendously high considering the number of kills, but Archaon and the Summoners of Rage, absolute beast in this matchup. But a really fun matchup. Hope you all enjoyed this one. I know I did. Like I said, appreciate Dragomir. I'll be back with some more. You all have sent me more replays. I'm going to be working through them. I'm going to be playing some more multiplayer this week with you all on stream. I'm going to get the stream scheduled, so keep an eye on that, and I'll be back playing some games with you, and we'll make sure to show some of that as well. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I will see you all soon with some more action in Total War Warhammer 3.